Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So Sister Wives one-on-one, the sit down, the tell all, the reunion, it aired last night. I filmed my recap, and because the recap itself was going to be kind of long, I decided not to talk about things in the recap, not give my own opinions of them, just do the recap, put it out, and I would break the tell-all up into different sections of things that I thought were interesting and I had thoughts on. So one thing that happened in this sit down is that Meri Brown actually admits which wife she was the most jealous of, and also she talks about how there is this false idea that in polygamy that the wives don't get jealous. That, because a husband has many wives, sometimes 3, 4, however many, people just tend to believe, oh, they must not get jealous. They must be fine with it. And Meri says that is not the case at all, that they are human. It is a struggle. It's something that they have to work through. So she does talk about the jealousy and who she was the most jealous of. But before we talk about that, I kind of want to take it back a little bit into this sit down. Even over the past few seasons, Meri Brown, even though her and Kody do not have an intimate relationship, she has not left the Brown family, and it's more because of the family unit that they have. She wouldn't just be leaving Kody, but she's very close to Robin and Robin's children, so that's another part of why she doesn't leave. The host asked her, are you willing to stick around to see if Kody will ever become intimate with you again? And if he doesn't, what are you going to do about that? And Meri basically said yes, that she will stick around. She's here. She's not going anywhere. And it is her hope that Kody will become intimate with her again and they can have a functioning, in love, intimate marriage again at some point. But if they never do, that she is at peace with the relationships that she has within the family, that she'll be okay even if Kody never comes back around and they have that type of marriage. In this one-on-one, Meri went into further detail about her relationship with Kody. She also went into deeper conversation into her relationship with the sister wives as well. There was one point during the one-on-one where the host took her back down memory lane, and it showed Meri and Kody's wedding. It showed them before the wedding. Meri talking about how they met 6 months later, they were getting married, that they were very much in love. She talks about their wedding, how they had a very special and lavish wedding, how they danced all night at the reunion. And then Kody talks about how she bit his finger when he was putting the cake in her face. And she talks about how they were in love. So they got married back in 1990. They were in love. It was nice. And then she starts talking about, bringing on new wives into the marriage and how she dealt with that and how she felt about it and who she was the most jealous of. So her and Kody got married in 1990, and then Janelle was brought on as a wife. Now Meri and Janelle, they knew each other. Janelle was even at Meri and Kody's wedding because Janelle was married to Kody's brother, so she was already a part of the family. But when she was brought on as a wife, Meri said she struggled, that she was in fact jealous of Janelle. Janelle spending time with Kody. There was a change in dynamic, even though she signed up for polygamy, even though she knew when she married Kody he would have more wives. There was a change when you go from getting married, the man's attention is only on you, and then a new wife is here, and then you're having to split your time with your husband to someone else. So she said yes, she absolutely was jealous of Janelle. But she says that she was the most jealous of Christine. Janelle comes in first. Some years later, Christine joins, and she says she was actually the most jealous of Christine. Now, it would be like several years after that before Robin would enter the family as a wife, but she wasn't that jealous of Robin. When Sister Wives first premiered in 2010, Meri and Kody still seemed very much in love. They were shown hugging, kissing. They would do date nights. And when Robin had her first child, she actually offered to be a surrogate for Meri and Kody so they could have more children. Meri talked about, how it was very hard for her to only have one child. Unfortunately, the marriage between Kody and Meri began to unravel. Meri did end up divorcing Kody, but that was supposedly only so he could get married to Robin and adopt her 3 children. I really do feel like there was a little bit more to it than that. I personally feel like Kody was more in love with Robin. He wanted Robin to be his legal wife, but maybe he convinced Meri under the guise of so I could adopt her children. While I do think obviously that was something that he wanted to do, I think there were multiple reasons why he wanted to divorce Meri and make Robin his legal wife. And one of those reasons is because he was more in love with Robin than any of the other women. But it worked out well because he could just say, so I could adopt her children. Meri did that. She divorced Kody so he could marry Robin. Meri ended up going into a dark place, becoming depressed. She talked about this on the one-on-one, and she said that basically led her to social media, looking for someone to talk to on social media. Sadly, she ended up getting catfished, and that kind of brought the whole family to their knees pretty much. Kody said in the one-on-one that Meri was going to leave him, that there was no ifs, ands, buts about it. Meri wasn't going to think twice about it. She was going to leave him. She was going to leave the family. And it was only after she realized that she had been duped that, she knew that she couldn't, and that she kind of took the family back. And he said the family as a unit, just rallied around her to protect her, to take up for her pretty much. Even though she was going to leave him, he said, for a better and richer man. He says Meri was going to leave for a better and richer man. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was only after she realized that she had been duped that she knew she wasn't going anywhere. Now, Meri says that wasn't the case. Meri says that there were times she weighed her options to see, what she was going to do. But ultimately, I guess deep down, she kind of knew she was never going to go anywhere. But Kody, that's one of the reasons that he told the host that was like an awakening for him during the catfish situation. That it wasn't that situation that really broke him concerning their marriage. It was just that was the situation that woke him up to make him realize that, okay, I don't want this anymore. I don't want a marriage. I don't want an intimate marriage with Meri anymore. But anyways, in the interview, Meri Brown shared how she and Kody, they were super happy on their wedding day. They were in love. But it did take some adjustments when he married Janelle. She had some jealousy issues that she had to learn how to deal with. The two, Janelle and Meri, they have butted heads in the past. But they did seem to hash it out somewhat in past seasons and kind of figure out a way to move forward. But that is probably where it started, I guess. When you come into a marriage where there's already a wife and she's having some jealousy issues, obviously that's going to bleed over into the way that she treats you, right? While everybody wants to look at polygamy and think, oh, they don't get jealous, everybody's just one big happy family, according to them, that's not the way that it was. And she was super jealous, especially when Christine came into the fold, super jealous, and that it was hard for her to deal with. So that's what she talked about on the episode, that it was hard for Janelle, but much harder when Christine came in, becoming the third wife. And she says she has no idea why it was even harder with Christine, but it was. As for Robin, she pretty much sought her out. So, she doesn't have any jealousy when it comes to Robin. But I thought that was interesting for her to kind of put it in order and say, there is jealousy, and this is who I was the most jealous of. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Were you guys shocked to hear Meri talk about jealousy and the fact that she was the most jealous of Christine coming into the family? Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I'm so close to 50,000. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.